You know, one of the things that comes up time and time again when I'm talking about hypnosis and the struggle or the challenges we face as people who have chosen influence as a way of life is that semantics are stacked against us, right? You heard me talk about borrowing cultural imprints, and if everybody thinks hypnosis is a certain thing, then we'll just go ahead and pretend it is, because it's a lot easier than try to overcome all this cultural conditioning. But there's also a type of cultural conditioning that is absolutely in opposition to us. It makes our job much harder. And again, for example, let's say you're talking about hypnotic trance, and people immediately think that they're going to go into a coma, or that they're going to fall asleep and they won't be able to wake up on their own, or all these kinds of things, all wrapped into the whole concept of hypnotic trance. Well, we're all familiar with this, and we all have our workarounds, our little explanations, our little pre-talks. Right? But what about things like I'm talking about sexuality, and I start talking about the concept of surrender? Now, to me, surrender is an incredibly beautiful thing. It's a moment of trust, of purity. It's a moment where anyone can be shown how to experience anything that any human being can possibly experience. I think surrender is a good thing. Lots of people think of surrender in a militaristic kind of frame, and they think that, well, when you are defeated, you are forced to surrender. So they have this association in their mind that if I were to offer myself up to someone else to be led, to be trained, to be taught, then I'm admitting defeat, and boom, all those defense systems come into play, and you find that you're struggling to get them to make the tiniest positive improvement in their life, right? So I've got a whole laundry list of these terms where we can start to look at semantics, word choice, word meaning, how that influences popular culture. How can that be changed over time? How can that be changed in the moment? We're going to be doing a lot of, like, all you NLP people are going to be going, oh, he's doing reframes. Yes, I am. Okay. Except I'm going to be doing it in trance, so it actually works. And then we're going to go ahead and show you how now, if you start to change your language use, if you start to change your language choices and refuse to accept certain definitions but highly reinforce, acquiesce with, or just flat out use different definitions for the words, what happens? How can we do it? How can we take language, which is our primary tool, is language and the concepts that are embedded within that. And when we're talking to people, whether we're like hammering away at direct suggestion, we're doing indirect conversational trance, whatever, when we are talking to people, what we're really doing is we're taking a series of concepts and we're chaining them together in a sequence, right? And so long as that sequence has an internal logic and a certain amount of pleasure that's involved in it, we're going to find that that linguistic sequence will hold and be considered to be true. So we're going to break the semantic trap and instead show you how to use language as your primary tool, but in a much more powerful, much more effective way, so it makes it much more likely that you're going to get exactly what you want out of the interaction.